Gonna use these today. Welcome back again to another episode of Redline Rehab. It has been way too long since we've had an episode, and we really apologize for that. 2020 was really crazy, obviously, not only for us, but for you guys as well. You know, I got COVID, things got busy with work, and actually work had never been more busy. But we're back. Awesome episode today. First of all, I gotta get this stuff out. Good thing I wasn't a surgeon. Guess what's in here? Great, another box. And voila. Boost juice, water methanol. Now, I definitely need a lot bigger garage because I have to keep one of my toys back here, unfortunately. But keep it covered and protected, of course. That's an embarrassment. If you haven't seen this yet, this is my 2005 Dodge Neon SRT4. And what do we have back here? Water methanol injection kit. Alright, there we go. Should be plenty for what we're doing. Now, it's been a while since I've started this car, probably a month. Let's hope it starts up. Ooh, yeah. I love this car. Yes, I love my Hellcat. I love my motorcycle. But this car, it's just so much fun. Yeah, it's cheap. It's a Neon. I know. But they're just a blast. And this is the second one I've had. And I love them. They're just so much fun. You throw a big turbo on them, a clutch that can support the power, a fuel system, intercooler, add a little water methanol injection like we've done. And I bet these things are putting out around 400 to the wheel. They're a blast. If you've owned one of these cars or you see them around, people are generally making the blow-off valve go off constantly. It's pretty loud, it's fun, it's maybe kind of childish at times too, if I'm being honest. One of the best things I bought for it were some Toyo Proxys R888Rs. I did a comparison video from the tires that I was running on this car with getting these new Proxy tires on, and what a difference. I actually hook up now in second gear. If you're watching this video and you're unsure what water methanol injection is and what that's all about, let me try to explain it here to you really quick. There's also a lot of videos out on YouTube if you want to learn more about it. They're definitely going to be more of the expert than I am. But when we opened my trunk, we had that white tank back there, and next to it was a pump. Now, I filled the white tank with that pink fluid. That pink fluid is a methanol mix with distilled water. So it's a pre-mix that I buy. It's called Boost Juice. It's really good stuff. So I fill that in there. Now, this whole kit is wired to the car. And what happens basically is when I give the car gas and it produces vacuum in the system, it lets this kit know, hey, pump water methanol injection into the engine. Now, it's not going directly into the engine. It's actually going in before the throttle body. So when it sprays this water methanol injection in, the air that's passing through it is cold and it's very cooled down now. The air that's passing through it becomes a lot colder, having that air mixed with the water methanol injection. And so when that comes in through the throttle body, into the intake manifold, and into the engine, colder air means what? Better combustion. Now with that, colder air, better combustion, we're looking at adding additional timing advancement to the engine. And when we can do that, we can create more horsepower. In our video today, we're heading over to my friend's house who tuned this car. We have the version 2 nozzle, which is just one nozzle spraying into the engine right now. We're gonna add a second nozzle, so 2 of the new version 3 nozzles. Now AEM, they say you get a lot better atomization out of these new nozzles from version 3 than from the version 2. We're gonna see if we can pick up more horsepower and if the car runs better on the 2 nozzles versus the 1. HP tuners. Oh yeah. Here you go. So this is AEM's new injectors, and you can, I don't know if you can see these little white dealies in here, but depending on the flow, depends on which ones you want to put inside there. So we'll be adding both these new injectors. Bought these online, I think they were like around 90 bucks. But version 3 kit nozzles there. Brake boosting you were doing there?
Yeah. Trying to load it down a bit just so that we can simulate a higher gear without having to go super fast. I mean, 3rd gear's already fast enough.
Oh yeah.
Usually I'll do those loaded pulls with the brake in 2nd gear just to keep speeds under 60 miles per hour. Set to 30 PSI. So we shouldn't be hitting 100% output on this anyway, but I'm going to go ahead and crank it up to 35 as full output just to see if that eliminates that stutter. So I think we're just flooding it with too much water meth, and that would be why we're feeling that hesitation. There was a little bit of knock on that first pull, but only 1 degree, which isn't much. The second pull, less than a degree was pulled, only a half a degree. Got that lean blip on that one. Let's see if I can replicate that, and we'll let off the throttle when that happens. Starts really flowing through the system, but if you immediately go back to it, it doesn't have that lean blip anymore. maybe a little better control over the volume of water meth that gets injected, and hopefully that translates into a little bit more predictable AFR curve. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but you've got that mechanical delay between the time where the controller activates the water methanol injection pump and the time that the water methanol actually hits the intake tract. And depending on which gear you're in, that delay will have either minor effects or major effects on what you see for your air-to-fuel ratio versus your RPM and your load. So hopefully it's a little more linear in its delivery. So what I'm going to do is I'll install that new nozzle. I'm going to almost start from scratch on the fuel mapping. I'll turn the injection system off, the water meth injection system, and I'll tune it without it first, just to establish a consistent fuel map for the amount of airflow that we're giving the motor at any given RPM without the water meth like interrupting anything. And then after I get that all figured out and consistent, I'll turn the water meth on, and then I'll make adjustments to the fueling strategy from there to try to maintain a consistent air to fuel ratio.
Sounds awesome.
Of course, we'll also go through the timing advance during all of that as well. I'll have to cut the timing back while I'm tuning it without the water meth to make sure that there's no detonation occurring. And then once we turn the water meth back on, we can ramp the timing back in, get the power that it's going to make. We'll do a comparison of the timing advance before the new setup and after, and see what kind of improvements were yielded.
There you go. So to show you where this injector is for the AEM, you can see down here behind the valve, right there. So we're going to replace that one with the new one. We're going to add a second one to it and see what kind of results we get.
Are we?
Or are we?